what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves men speechless. It could be model, multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all.
So welcome to Breakthrough Conversations with Rhoda and Company, where we spotlight leadership journeys, insights, and strategies that empower change makers. Sorry about that. Today, we're honored to welcome Holly Golebiowski. I'm going to call her Holly G, executive coach, partner at Leadership Skills, and a leader with over 25 years of experience in business leadership and coaching. As a former COO and vice president of operations who transformed high-pressure careers through coaching, Holly excels in guiding women leaders toward empathy, emotional intelligence, and sustainable success. So in this conversation today, we're going to explore how women can leverage empathy as a strategic advantage, navigate transitions, and lead with both strength and authenticity. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you joined. I would love to hear so much more about you. Can you share your path from operations leadership into executive coaching and how being a woman shaped your journey?
Yes, I can. I'm probably like a lot of people in the world. I fell into my role right in college in actually real estate. And I became a manager in real estate and loved it, stayed with it, and ended up being promoted through the ranks once I graduated. And I ended up making a jump, not expecting to stay in that industry. I ended up, I was asked to become a regional manager, and I made that jump from like on-site management to the, corporate level management. I'll talk a little bit later, I think, about how I struggled with that.
Okay.
But after I made it through that hump, I jumped into just moving up from there, corporate management, from regional manager to RVP to vice president operations to COO eventually. And what I found, I'm going to get in a minute to the jump to coaching, but what I found and what made me leave that industry is probably, I think, what a lot of women face, in that someone was promoted above me that was, I don't want to take anything away from him. He's great at what he does, but it made me step back and think, I trained him. He has less experience than me. And, what's the difference between us? And why wasn't I ever asked?
Yes.
So we'll probably touch on that as we talk today.
Yes.
But that really made me step back, and that bump in my career where I almost got fired made me realize, I need to do something different. And I really enjoyed, my favorite thing was growing and developing people.
Yes.
And I found a great coach in my career, which is how I got not fired
right
during that bump. So ultimately it was definitely a self-reflection of, is it because he's a man and I'm not? And then led me to this path of really going back to school, becoming a coach. And that led very serendipitously to me working now as a partner with Leader Skills. So I am a partner at Leader Skills. I don't work with Leader Skills.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Yes, I bet it's so many women that can resonate with your story. And shout out to coaching. I have recently got my certified certificate in coaching as well through IPEC. And I told somebody, I said, you do not get through a coaching training program without being a better you. Because then you learn how to tap into your inner coach and coach yourself up. So to the point you just made, that prevented you from being exited out of an organization.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to comment on the point you made, how we often, and I bet it's many of us women who've experienced and observed this, we work to the top of our potential. We are willing, overly helpful to train whomever, and then we're often overlooked for the next level up. So I want to give you kudos for stepping back and reflecting, and you're like, okay, I can do something different and create a whole nother path for yourself. Because many of us don't recognize the choices we have, and we just sit in it. So thank you for being an example, for stepping out in faith.
Thank you.
You've championed empathy, not as, a soft skill, but as a strategic asset. How can women leaders reframe empathy in today's business landscape?
Well, the one big thing I tell people constantly is you adjust to your team, not the other way around.
Right.
And I think that old leadership styles are that I'm the boss, do what I say. And that is old. It doesn't work. You'll burn out your team. They won't want to stay with you. Your turnover will be high. So empathy is such a great way. If you really learn how to do it and really, it's a tool that really helps you adapt to your team and be a better leader. So that's where I start with it as a skill for people, and really start talking about how do you get in their shoes? How do you understand from their point of view to motivate them and help them be better at what they do, which ultimately makes everybody better. So that's kind of where I start that conversation with people.
I love that. You're speaking to my heart. So meeting people where they are. And I heard you say earlier that you love people. And I often say, if you're in a leadership role and people aren't your passion, you probably should not be leading. So it sounds like you're very passionate about that as well. And I love that you said you adjust to your team. It's not the other way around. And that old mindset and old school form of leading is not really leading.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's dictating.
This topic is my jam, about empathy and leadership, caring, being authentic, being vulnerable, trying to see the situation from the standpoint of your teammates. I love that. So you once described nearly being terminated before coaching reignited your career. You just said that. How can women in leadership pivot through challenges like that?
Okay, so what I was saying that because we oftentimes end up in ruts and we may not know why. And I think the biggest thing with women is becoming their own, we got to be our own cheerleader. We have to look around us and think, who can we go to for help? If I'm struggling, one, I'm probably not the only one. And people above me probably have faced that challenge too. So I always tell people to look around, and I don't mean like a mentor. Like, don't look for someone like you, because they're not going to necessarily be able to teach you what you don't have or what you don't know. I always really push to say, okay, look up, maybe there's a man that is going to help you understand how you're coming across too in the workplace. And kind of really speaking with others and constantly asking for feedback is huge. Hey, even your employees, anybody, up, down, sideways, doesn't matter what direction, you should constantly be asking for, what can I do better? And really mean it. And be ready for the feedback. And be positive about getting actionable feedback, even if it hurts a bit.
That is so true. In my one-on-ones, in teams that I've led in the past, I would end the one-on-one by asking, is there something that I do that you wish, I wish Rhoda wouldn't do that?
Yeah.
And if there's something I do that you just love, please let me know. And I would get really good feedback. And to your point, it really is a gift if given in the right spirit. To your point, asking for it, asking others how they're experiencing you. And I love this concept of looking up. That's very powerful, because oftentimes what got us here won't get us there. And we don't know that, but they know that because they're there, and they could give us some insight. So thank you for that. That's very powerful. In your steamroll episode, you talk about using an introvert safe word to reset dynamics. How can assertiveness and empathy serve women leaders, especially those navigating that introvert-extrovert workplaces?
Well, I really enjoyed that episode, by the way. People that are like me, that are extroverts, don't realize how much we steamrolled introverts in the world. So it is so critical to be aware of that. And, it's not a male-female thing. But I do think introverted women are definitely judged more harshly, because they expect, it's kind of like I was saying, we're told to dress up, dress down, don't dress too nice, don't dress, there's so many things we face that I think it's very important in that, in that when you're that introvert, to really be aware of that as a female, because they probably just think you're quiet, or you're not interested, or, you're dreaming about something, which we're not, so definitely being aware of that, I think, is very critical. And for the women out there that are extroverts, I always really push them to look around and see who's not talking and try to help them, which is kind of where I came up with the safe word. I have one of my best employees of all time was an introvert, and I totally misunderstood her for years. And once we worked it out, and she was like, "Hey, pump the brakes, Holly. Just because I didn't speak up doesn't mean I don't have feelings about it. I just didn't want to do it in that room." So it definitely, I think females trying to help females, that's something to be very much aware of. And also, if you are introverted, please don't hate it. We just don't realize, because we're like running a million miles an hour and being loud, and sometimes we like our own voice too much. So it's important to know we want to help. We just don't know sometimes.
Yeah, I'm extroverted, but I'm on the line when I take the Myers-Briggs, so I kind of like have two sides. But I had an employee that she's very introverted. We're friends to this day, and we joke about this all the time. But what I find is that extroverts, we're really thinking out loud. And I told people that know me, I said, don't ever take my advice until it's the third or fourth thought. Because I'm still processing and thinking. I'm just doing it out loud. Versus the introvert, they're thinking before they speak, and they often, when they do speak, is very powerful.
Always. Yeah. It's almost, almost 99.9% of the time, it's something that you really need to listen to. Absolutely.
Yes. So having a safe word, that's a neat practice. Yes. I've been in the room where leaders have told me, if I have a position for a promotion, I'm going to pick the extrovert every time. I said, well, that's not fair.
Exactly.
And it's not equitable, because just because they're introverted doesn't mean they can't be effective as a leader.
Oh my gosh, and they're the most caring people out there. They care. People think I care so deeply, and I do. But man, the introvert in the room, they are definitely, they're really thinking about it. They think more deeply and longer, and they have so much to offer. And they actually typically have much higher rates, I should say, lower rates of turnover. They score much higher as a leader. Their teams love them. So
yeah, very deep people is what I've found. Yeah. So you emphasize tools like DISC and self-coaching. How can women use self-awareness tools to lead more boldly and mindfully?
I think that's key too. And the part where at work we're misunderstood. I think the DISC, when you take it and read it the first time, it is like slam, bam, look in the mirror, and ouch, that hurts a bit. So it's very useful for self-awareness in general. So it's the one thing I start with every coaching client at Leader Skills. We require everyone to take it before we start doing training with any group. And it's amazing. I think it's worth every penny, and I could not say enough good things about it. But there's a flip side too. If you're having a hard time with someone, or if you don't quite understand someone else, or you're struggling with someone and you have their DISC in your hand, it tells you so much. You probably have misunderstood them a lot. And very much helps you understand them. So it makes communication so much better, because now you know kind of what you're dealing with to meet them where they are, but also you understand how you're going to be perceived by them. You know, I'm a bowl in a china shop to most people, and I didn't realize that. So it was great for me, and it definitely helps the self-awareness of when I think I'm being like happy and go lucky, I can be a little bit of a self-promoter and irritate everybody in the room. So, knowing those things definitely makes you, it gives you an edge all day long at work. And if someone listening doesn't have money for coaching or doesn't have the resources, just the DISC alone is amazing. It can get you so far.
And I love the comparison reports. So that you can run between you and your team. And it shows you like, here's some pitfalls of things you might want to look out for. It is so powerful.
And how to motivate others. It really is like a shoe-in to empathy, I think.
It really is. It really is. I love that. So many women, they feel pressure to prioritize performance. And then how have you guided women toward balancing high performance with emotional and psychological safety?
The biggest thing for me is really looking strategically at your time, because every client I have between coaching and Leader Skills, all I hear over and over is there's not enough time in the day. I'm exhausted. So many things like that. So one thing we teach with leader skills is how to use your time with like an ROI calculation. And very quickly, I can give you the short assessment of that is listing out everything that you need to do. And then put beside it how much time each of those things will take. And then it's a bit arbitrary sounding, but if you rank everything on that list on a scale of 1 to 10, as in most important, what will give the most value to your company? And then divide that number that you assigned it, 1 through 10, by the amount of time it'll take you to do it. And that's going to give you an equal footing for all of those things you need to do. And that allows you to kind of look back and say, okay, now where do I need to go first? Because a lot of times there's things on our list that seem really important, but are going to take so long to do that you can knock out these 5 other things and they're going to have a huge impact. Whereas you maybe, or vice versa, it could be something really quick. But I think when you really start looking at your time from like a time value perspective, it allows you then to really take more control of your schedule and take more control of what you're doing in your day and where if you're allotting time for your mental wellness, throughout your week, those kinds of things. So that's made a huge difference.
Holly giving us free knowledge for those listening or viewing. You're getting some free knowledge. You just gave us a formula we can use that will help us prioritize and focus on things that's going to give us the biggest bang for our buck. Holly, I didn't send you this question in advance, but I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on, there seems to be in the workplace, specifically when it comes to women, this aura or era of competition, whereas we, instead of uplifting one another and pulling each other up, it seems like we're trying to outperform one another. What are your thoughts and how do you coach around that?
I really encourage women to consider why they may feel frustrated with other women in the workplace or why they don't want to help. Sometimes that's a reflection on your own internal issues. Maybe you don't realize that you're still like negatively carrying how hard you work to get there. Or maybe you had to fight so hard to get there that you have like a bit of a, I got here, I'm not going to help you mentality. So I think it takes some self-reflection first. But also, I think it's a little bit of, we all feel like there's only a few slots for us. So we have to fight each other. It doesn't have to be that way. We can actually take over the world together if we just all get on the bus together. So I think it's just thinking a little differently about it.
We can create our own tables like you've done. We can build our own businesses. It's so much opportunity. And we really should challenge ourselves around that mentality and get us a coach if need be, if we need help overcoming whatever insecurity is driving that mentality.
Absolutely.
So, Holly, if you could share one empowering message for women stepping into leadership today, what would it be?
Ask for it. Men think they can do anything. And I've watched so many men, and this happened to me in my case, where that man that was over me, I found out like 5 years before that, he went to the CEO of the company and said, I want your job. What do I need to do to get there? And they groomed him. They groomed him for it. I never asked. I never even thought to do that because I think so many of us women, we want to know we're an expert before we do. Whereas men look at it and say, I'll figure it out. I can do it. So we need to stop being so like critical of ourselves and our abilities. And we just need to step up to the plate and do it and ask for that help along the way. And if you know what your goal is, tell everybody, let everybody know. And if someone makes you feel silly, you know what? That's their problem, not yours.
And I know that works because I did not start my career in HR. I've only been in HR for 11 years. I was trying to get into HR for 15 years. Everyone knew at that organization I was at, and it was 42,000 employees. All the leaders in the C-suite, everybody knew me. Everybody knew Rhoda wants to get in HR. And when they hired a new chief HR officer, she called me to go to lunch. And she said she went around the organization in 4 different states, and she was interviewing people, asking them who are the shakers and the movers. She said your name consistently came up.
Wonderful.
So it does work. It does work if you let people know. Now, I do have one situation where I tried to ask my leader what's next for me, which I was like in the leadership group right below the C-suite, and he got offended and reprimanded me and told me I needed to be grateful for where I was and what I had. What are your thoughts on that? Like,
that's not a leader.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Well, don't let that advice to people now and be, that's their problem, not yours. And you just got to take it, because there will be punches along the way.
Yes.
But that's it. When someone says that, you have to look somewhere else.
Yes.
I mean, when I was almost fired, it was because the boss right above me, and she was just doing what she knew was taught, right?
Right.
She wasn't actually leading me. She was just telling me problems and symptoms.
Right.
So when you get that kind of response, you go find it from somewhere else.
That's
what
right.
you need. A coach and all those things.
Yeah. And to your point, that's a them problem, not a you problem. Yeah. So I love that. The one powerful and empowering message you would send to women stepping into leadership, or that's even in leadership, and that aspire to continue to grow in leadership, is to ask, let your requests be made known.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Holly, any other parting words of wisdom you would like to leave to our listeners?
Just believe in yourself. I mean, I cannot tell you how many women I know that deserve to be doing jobs much higher than they are, but they are not confident enough because we've been beat down a lot through the years, and we've just got to be confident and keep pushing.
Yeah, believe in yourself. Well, Holly, thank you so much. You had such insightful thoughts. I just love your energy and your emphasis on self-awareness and empathy and sustainable leadership. It's a powerful reminder that women leading with integrity, not just ambition, can drive lasting impact. So for our listeners, follow Holly G at Leadership Skills. Check out her website. And you've been on several podcasts. And this one I found, and you were on a recent From Burnout to Breakthrough, the self-aware leader and the role of empathy and leadership was the topic. Check those out. And if today's episode resonated, please subscribe and leave a review and share it with someone who you think will benefit from Holly's approach to leadership. And so until next time, lead with empathy and lead with confidence. Thank you.
Hey, what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves me speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all. Hey, what's your story? A kick-ass mom and 40 under 40. It's soccer practice in your high heel glory. Yeah, you do it all.